Good evening, lovely spirits. It's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace. And today I want to do this very deep video called the UAYEB. Now I know a lot of y'all are not familiar with that word, UAYEB. And that is an ancient Mayan word. And it's a very deep thing. I want to break this video down to y'all. Now this is probably like a 2-month course because there's so many angles that you could receive knowledge from this particular topic. Like, this is deep. The Mayans were very intelligent. They probably one of the most advanced civilizations that we have in history. I'm reaching, but they were very deep. Very deep. And I want y'all to grasp a thing. Now, what is the UAYEB? Is what most of y'all should be thinking. And it's a deep thing. It's a 5-day month that all ancient civilizations in the past had in their calendar. So you know how we have 365 days in a year. Well, they had the 5 days separate from the 360. And those 5 days were their own month. And the ancient Mayans called that month the UAYEB. And other civilizations had their name for it in their language. But that's basically what the UAYEB was. It was a 5-day month that all ancient civilizations in the past had. Now, in order for you to fully grasp the UAYEB, I want to go deeper into ancient times. I don't mean times, but their time, the way their calendar work, because this will help you grasp the UAYEB. Now, we all know there's 7 days in a week, and we know this because God said so. He created the earth in 6 days, and on the 7th day he rested, and that was a whole revolution, and that was the week. And we know this is correct because God said so. Now, that's incorrect because you figure the ancient Egyptians, they had a 10-day week. Grasp how deep that is. The ancient Egyptians had a 10-day week. So just let that sit a minute. You can grasp right there. Weeks and months truly don't matter. The only thing that matters is days and years. And you can chop up the time in between however you want and call it months, weeks, or whatever. So that's man-made. You have universal truth, which is days and years, and then you have the things in between that men use so they don't get lost in the year. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. It's May now. If you ask a man, what's today? And if you were only dealing with days and years, he would have to say, okay, January had 31 days, February had, and he would have to literally add up the days. So men make crutches called weeks and months for the time in between so that they don't get lost and they can keep track easily. But it's a deep thing. But let me not get off topic and let me stick to the UAYEB. Now, in ancient Egyptian times, you had 365 days. And you had 12 months in that year. And each month had 30 days. So that adds up to 360. And then they had a 13th month, which was 5 days long. So that's the UAYEB. Now, they didn't call it the UAYEB, but they called it whatever they called it. But that was the 5-day month, their 13th month. And it's a deep thing. The ancient Egyptians, they had 3 weeks in a month, which were 10 days long. Each week was 10 days long. They had a 2-day weekend, so to say, because you know they had the system where people work, the poor work for the rich, and they never get rich. So they had that same system we have. So they had, you know, the 2-day weekend, but they had a 10-day week. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Now, when you get into the ancient Mayans, they had 365 days in a year, just like everybody. And they had 18 months in a year. And then they had 20 days in each month. So that adds up to 360. And then they had the 5-day month, which was the 19th month for them. And this was the UAYEB, the 5-day month. In this 5-day month, the days had no names. See, all other days and months had names and symbols. But the 5-day month, the UAYEB, according to the ancient Mayans, it was nameless. They didn't name those days. They fasted on those days. They did heavy sacrificing on those days. It was like a 5-day period of mourning, of doing nothingness. And it was a deep thing that people have to grasp, because all the ancient people in the past had that 5-day month. So it doesn't matter how many months they had. Like the Egyptians, they had 12 months. And then they had the 13th month, which was 5 days long. Same with the Mayans. 18 months, 20 days of each month. And then they had the 19th month, which was the UAYEB. The 5-day month. And this was basically the UAYEB. The separation of those 5 days from the 360. Now, I know a lot of y'all are probably thinking, why did the ancients separate the 5 days from the 360 like that? Why did they have the 5-day month, the UAYEB? Why did they separate it? And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. See, you have 365 days in a year. But we all know there's 360 degrees in a complete revolution. So 360 days should be a year. Yet, we have 365. So grasp, that makes no sense, right? Each day would be a degree. In 360 of those days should complete a whole revolution. And this is what a year is about, completing a revolution. Whether you believe it's a circle in the sun or whatever. This has nothing to do with an object. You can say it's a book, day and night. Then day comes again. So you know that's one whole separate day, because day came again now. So this is a revolution. So 360 days should be a year. But we have 365. So you have to grasp. It's a deep thing. Now I want y'all to look at this. Very deep. This is why we have 365 days instead of 360. Look. It's a simple thing. See, 360 degrees is a complete revolution, as you can see. Now, 365 degrees, it's a complete revolution also. But it leaves room for you to make another different revolution, expanding the conscious. Because if you can only make a 360-degree revolution, you're pretty much stuck. Grasp, you're stuck in the circle. But with the 365 degree, you have room for growth to do another revolution outside of that circle, expanding the conscious so that you get this symbol. So this is how you're able to get this, because of the 365-degree revolutions. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. That's Metatron's cube knowledge. You know, of conscious. This is how conscious expanded in the beginnings. And it's a deep thing. I don't know if y'all ready to grasp that. I'll come back and do that on another video. Metatron's cube and how consciousness expand. But if you can look at this image once again, you can see the extra 5 degrees. It gives you a void, a space, to have a whole new revolution, or 360 degrees of conscious or space. So it gives room for the life to keep expanding as opposed to being stuck in 360 degrees. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp, because a day is basically 360 degrees on a minor scale. See, when you have something that just continues, but it's repeating, you have the 360 degrees to separate it. So you have day, then night, then you have day again. So day and night is one day, and that's one whole revolution, or one whole completion of a day. And that's what separates it from the next. So one day is 360 degrees. Just like 1 year is 360 degrees. And 1 day is the micro of that year. So you have to grasp. 1 day is its own 360 degrees. And 365 1 days equals 1 year. So it's a deeper, simple thing. 365 days equals 1 year. 365 years equal 1 solar day. So grasp how simple and deep that is. 365 days equal 1 Earth year. 365 years equals 1 sun day, or 1 solar day. 365 years is just 1 day for the sun, or the solar. So this is like that long count, Mayan calendar count. And they don't fully grasp that, because this breaking it down in that sense. Micro to macro. It's like I say, we never apply that to the understandings when we see anything. And that's what that is. Breaking down, basically, Metatron's cube. Because you have to understand geometry, math. So the shapes and geometries and numbers. These things tell a story. This is how a person can word it however they choose when they speak, and whoever they speaking to. But numbers and geometry tells a story. So you have to grasp, it's a deep thing, but that's like long count knowledge. I'll come back and break that down in my next video when I break down the Mayan calendar in 2012. But I want to keep going with this UAYEB because I want y'all to grasp how deep it is. Now we finished with the 360 degrees. Now you should only have one question left, and that is, what was the purpose of the UAYEB? The 5-day month, where the Mayans starved themselves out and sacrificed and walked around mourning, doing nothing. What was the purpose of that day? And why was all the ancient people of the past acknowledging this 5-day month? What was the purpose of the UAYEB? And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. In the beginning, It was void and darkness, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters, and he said, "Let there be light." And it was day and night, and that was the first day. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. How long do you think God was hovering in the dark void before the first day? And that is what the UAYEB was for. It was for the time before the first day, when God was just sitting, hovering in the void. See, the Mayans was deep. This is where you get zero from. Grasp how deep that is. You get the first day, and before the first day, you get zero, which is the void number. It's nothing, but it's everything. Because if you put it next to another number, then it's something. Because 1 ain't 1 with a 0 next to it, it's 10. So it's nothing, but it's something, just like the void. This is where you get 0 from. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. You have the void from that. And this is what the UAYEB was in regards to. In acknowledgement to that time before the first day. All civilizations have a creation story, and it starts with the darkness and then the first day. So you have to grasp the time before that first day was the empty void, spaceless time. And the ancients called that the UAYEB. The ancient Mayans did. And you have to grasp, it was a deep thing. That's what the UAYEB was for, that voidless period. See, you have to have a deep intellect to even think of that. So anyone studying Mayan history, they would never find that anywhere. You have to have the intellect equal to the Mayans to grasp. See, a normal person would just read it and say, okay, I understand that they kept that day and they kept that month and they did this and that during that month, but the purpose is for what? So you have to have the intellect and the understanding of the Mayans. They understood sacred geometry. They understood so many different things that I understand. This is why I understand what the UAYEB was for. The 5-day month that all the ancients was keeping. This is why I understand what that's for. Because it's all geometry. It's where you get 0 from. The empty, voidless, spaceless time before the first day. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Because in order to get to that thought process, you have to ask yourself the question. How long was God in the void before the first day? How many people you think ever even thought of that? And this is how you know how smart a person is. According to the questions they ask themselves or anyone. See, that's the deepest question you could ask in the first paragraph of the Bible. My intellect is at that. This is why I asked myself that question in the past. How long was God in the void before the first day? Because the first day don't matter if he was conscious and doing him before that in darkness. That time count too. It just wasn't counted because he didn't do nothing yet. But it still is part of time. So how long was he there? And this is where the conscious starts to expand. And you get the understandings of 0. Then you begin to get the understandings of the 365-degree day. Year. So you can get the expansion of conscious. So when y'all see that sign, that's nothing but a 365-degree revolution, as opposed to the normal 360-degree that we always see, which is just a closed circle. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. During the UAYEB time, the ancient Mayans, they fasted. They did a lot of sacrificing. to the gods of the UAYEB month. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. This was not a happy month. And it's a deep thing. It's just like I told y'all. This is hell. The ancients understood that. The God in the void was the Satan. And this is why we in this reality, the physical reality where we lost into the desires and things of the physical, because the creator of this reality was the Satan, or was lost in its Satan. Because all living beings have that duality, God and Satan, which is basically just spirit and body. And the body pulls for all the physical desires and things at once, and the spirit can't do nothing with those things. So the spirit is based on morals, principalities, things that matter. I won't sell my mother out for this quick come up, or I won't sell my boy out for this quick come up. Things like that. This is the things that the spirit can do things with. The body needs the physical. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. But this is what the UAYEB is for, and this is what the understandings that the ancients had. This is why people be so lost. Like, man, what happened to the ancient Mayans? They did the three-corner pathway. Like the video that I got up, they did the three-corner pathway. And they escaped this hell, or this Metatron's cube of an existence that we live in. You can call it what you want. Hell, Metatron's cube, whatever. But we be trapped and cut off from the all existence of life. And a lot of the ancients understood this, and those that did, they died the proper way. They basically did the breakdowns of what I said in the three-corner pathway video. They did that. And this is why they're gone. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp, because we can all get away. But most of us won't, because y'all lost in y'all religions. And it's a deep thing, because y'all religions try to scare y'all into the right way of living, but it becomes a dominion thing and a force thing. This is why it's not good. It's, you scare somebody into doing something, it's like forcing them. And it's a free will thing. You have to just grasp and have knowledge. Knowledge is everything. You have to grasp. In order to exist in life, you need knowledge. I don't care if you're in the physical or unphysical. A baby can't get to be a teenager unless it's acquiring some type of conscious thought and expanding its conscious. If it doesn't, and it's still acting like it's 4 months old at a teenager's age, then we deem that mentally disabled. So you have to grasp, everything boils down to conscious. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. But that's what the UAYEB is for. It's for that time before the first day in creation. In the space between the 365-degree revolution, which gives you space to expand on the conscious, as opposed to a regular closed 360-degree circle. So it's a deep thing. The knowledge I have is very deep. Hopefully all of y'all take this right here and go donate to my GoFundMe. GoFundMe.SolidSolarry. And a lot of y'all need to get y'all one-on-ones on, because it's a lot of deep knowledge. Like this topic is so much deeper. But give you a tablespoon at a time. But hopefully y'all soak this up nice and good. Let it sit. Maybe watch it 2 or 3 times to fully get it. Because I'm going to start breaking down some heavy things. Next video, I'm going to break down Metatron's cube. And then after that, I'm going to break down the Mayan long count calendar. Basically the one where people think that 2012 was supposed to be the end of the world. I'm going to break down what went wrong. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. It's your main man Solace. Stay in humble spirits. Try to grasp balance in life. Live in the balance. Learn, give, and receive. It's a deep thing. Knowledge is priceless. It's nothing more valuable than that. Grasp, give, and receive, because you've just been given 25 minutes worth of jewels. It's your main man Solace. Be groovy.